Hey, what's going on? You guys loved the first part of my Can We Fix It series where I talked about Mirage and Lifeline, so I figured we'd come back with episode 2, and in this episode we are going to be talking about both Crypto and Revenant, who are the two most requested legends that I do next. So just to give you a brief overview of what we do if you didn't see the first episode, and as always you can catch that by clicking the banner in the top right hand corner, is I go through the legends that I think need the buffs or the nerfs the most. So last episode we covered the two, in my opinion, legends who needed the most buffs, but now we're moving on to two more, and I'm first going to define why it is that they need a buff, and then we're going to talk about how we can actually go about doing that. So first things first, let's get straight into Revenant, and I think Revenant potentially has a pretty good kit. It's just that it's not deployed in the best way for him, and I think he needs some buffs to go around with his abilities, especially his tactical. Now, first off, let's talk about his passive ability. I think the idea behind this is a great idea. Have a legend who can move fast while they're crouching, and have them be able to climb 75% higher than other legends. But here's the problem with that. Revenant can climb that much higher, but he only climbs quickly for the same amount as the other legends. So, for instance, if you were to climb a wall, just a regular old wall as any legend, you're climbing it at the same base speed for every legend. Now, if you were to add 75% more to that wall, Revenant could climb that extra 75%, but he would do it at half the speed, which doesn't make much sense to me. The time when you need mobility and speed is when you're in fights. So this actually works against Revenant, because even though you can climb higher, you're doing it much more slowly, which makes you a sitting duck if you're trying to get away from people, or if you're trying to get a height advantage over people. I think that definitely needs to be addressed, because it's something that's really holding back the maneuverability of Revenant players. So basically I would say just either make him 50% faster than he is right now when he's climbing that extra bit, or just make him climb regular speed all the way up that 75 extra percent. I think that's totally fine. I think it would be a great buff for him. But now let's talk about his Q ability. And I don't think anything major needs to be done with this ability. And if you're not familiar with it, he shoots out a ball with a pretty small radius. I believe it's about either 3 or 5 meters in diameter, and this is a really small blast radius. It stays there for a couple seconds, and it's incredibly useful if you're shooting it at a Wraith, Gibby, Caustic, Pathfinder, or Octane, just because it stops their Q ability, which is something that they rely heavily on during fights. These are also characters, aside from Caustic, who are very high speed characters, which means that you really have to have super precise aim to nail them with it. So I think just having it be maybe 7 meters or 8 meters in diameter, just adding those extra couple feet would really benefit Revenant players, and I think it would make his tactical a lot more powerful. And instead of seeing a Revenant and laughing like I do, I think a lot of players who are very aggressive would see a Revenant and be cautious before approaching them, which is something that a new character should have. You know, after the first day of Revenant being dropped, everybody just kind of stopped playing him. Everybody thought he was a meme, which he is, you know, in the hands of incredibly talented players. Obviously, Revenant is still good. I had people in my pick rate video saying that there are players with 15,000 kills on him and he's amazing. Well, if you're giving Asu Revenant, obviously he's going to be good, but the average player is not Asu. So Revenant does definitely need a little help there. But let's talk about his ultimate ability, which I think might be one of the worst in the game, just because it actually makes fighting more difficult, in my opinion, because you're limited to 99 health on that first push, which means if you get in there and you start fighting and you knock somebody down a whole bunch of health, instead of it switching over and now you're fighting with your shields, you're getting pushed all the way back to your totem, which means the enemy team has plenty of time to heal up, which is a terrible thing. In fact, when I have a Revenant on my team, he uses his ultimate, I almost never go into death protection mode. There are a few things that I think could remedy this. I think that if you were to have an option to turn off death protection, like if you had a function that came up on screen and you could actually choose to turn it off while you were fighting, I think that would make it so much better. That way, if you're getting low on health and you almost down the last player, you can just boom, turn off death protection and continue to fight with the damage now being inflicted upon your shield. So that's my take on Revenant. Let me know what you guys think about that down below, especially if you have some experience playing him. But now let's get into Crypto, and I play Crypto quite a bit. By no means a Crypto main, but I have enough experience on him that I can confidently talk about the abilities that need to be changed with him. And it's so hard to talk about Crypto in the sense of a tactical and a passive, because they're really the same thing. His passive is defined as his drone being able to scan enemies while he's not actively in drone view. So it's very difficult to talk about them as separate entities. So I'm going to kind of try to combine them and then with my ideas make them a little bit more concrete. So I think that Crypto's drone in general, and shout out to Rob for this idea, he helped me think of this, that Crypto's drone should have a dart in it, just one shot that resets every minute, and if you hit an enemy with it, it tags them and you get a ping that travels along with them for about 20 seconds. Now I think this would be a great passive, as soon as you hit them, you can then leave your drone view and you can see them moving along and you can follow them with your team, or you can attack them and know where their positioning is. I think it would add a higher skill cap to Crypto, as you'd have to be able to hit that dart in order to fully benefit your team as much as possible. In addition, I think Crypto's drone should also have a toggle where you can switch from drone view to a command setting, where you can send his drone out like a mirage decoy, and you can send it out to a position or send it down an area and have it check for hostiles on its own. I think that would greatly benefit Crypto, as it would make him far less reliant on just sitting in his drone and depending on his team, because I've had plenty of games where my teammates dip on me when I'm playing with randoms, and as a Crypto all alone, I really don't have any abilities at all. I have to go and climb on top of a building or hide in some hiding spots and try to scout out the area and find banners to show me how many squads are in my area, so I know if I can safely move. And while we're on that topic, Crypto also 100% needs to be able to ping banners to let his squad know how many squads are in the area. So if you're not super familiar with Crypto, essentially when he goes into the drone view, if he looks at any of those really big screens that tell you about the kill leader or champion, it tells you how many squads are within a 200-meter vicinity of you, not of your drone. You should really be able to ping those to let your teammates know if you don't have voice comms or if you're not typing. There's so many awesome voice quips in the game about so many different things, and for some reason this just got overlooked. And I personally think it's very important for Crypto to say like no squads in the area, we're safe, or one squad be on alert, or two squads, or there are multiple squads if there are 3 of them or more. That way he can communicate with his team, because all the other legends have voice lines like that about their abilities. I think EMP is actually okay. I think they have the drone in a pretty good spot. I would actually take some of the health away from it. It seems kind of crazy how many bullets you have to hit it with now. And I know all the Crypto mains complained before that it didn't have enough health, and now honestly I think it might have a little bit too much health. EMP though I think is great. They did a fantastic job of fixing it with your teammates no longer being slowed and all of that stuff. I think with the adjustments that I was talking about though, Crypto could completely be changed to the point where he actually would be a fairly common pick. Not anybody super overpowered, but just to get him in a spot where when you got a Crypto on your team, you wouldn't complain about it immediately. So these are my ideas for those 2 legends. Let me know what you think about it. How would you change them, especially if you have mained the characters? So please, I want to hear about it. Also, let me know what legends I should do next, and I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow. But until then, take it easy.